All right, let's talk about Dillion Gabriel, a guy I didn't make a film study on prior to the draft because I didn't think he was going to go that early, but he goes into third round ahead of Shedeur Sanders, who the Browns would later draft as well. So I figured, okay, well, I did do an evaluation on him. I just didn't make a film study. So why don't I dive back into the film a little bit, refresh myself on his tape, and then show you what I think of him. So let's get into it. One of the things I like about Dillion Gabriel is he sees the field very well. He's a bit of an older prospect, but that's, he definitely is someone who has seen enough football that he understands how the game works. So like this play, it's zone coverage. You see towards the left right here, those couple of routes. One, Dillion Gabriel takes the snap. He's going to look in that direction, but neither one of those routes really look to be too open. But that's okay. Watch what Gabriel is going to do. He's going to instead keep going, scrambles out a little bit, and is able to ultimately find a player who is open. I've compared him to a Gardner Minshew before, and this is kind of what I see, of just an ability to, in a situation that's not working, survive. Because some young quarterbacks, they need to be in a good situation if they're going to succeed. I think he could succeed even if the Browns aren't great next year, which seems possible, right? But also, I think he can find value on plays. For example, something like this, what's going to happen is this is going to be a zone coverage concept. A lot of routes to look at on the screen, but really the ones on the right, that's where his first read is going to be. So Gabriel takes a snap, and that's where he looks, going to his right. But again, nothing really is that open right here. He could maybe throw the more, looking at this, he could maybe throw the more underneath one going towards the sideline. But keep in mind, that's actually going deeper down the field, which the defender kind of has that covered. So what is Gabriel going to do? Well, instead, he looks over towards his left, and as of right here, a player has been left completely wide open. So, okay, well, that's good news, right? But Gabriel, who has just noticed this, watch how quickly he goes from noticing it to firing. Look, almost immediately, he's going to get the ball down there. That's good stuff by Dillion Gabriel to make something like that happen, to read the play quickly and get the ball over there and, go through his progression, see the whole field. All that stuff's very good. Heading over here, he is someone who can move. So like a play like this, you have an interior defensive lineman, and watch what this guy's going to do. Right off the bat, he's going to get through, very quickly. I don't want to say untouched, but definitely kind of a turnstile type play here. He's able to get through, and now Gabriel is in trouble, but watch what Gabriel's able to do. He's able to sidestep around that defensive lineman and just flip it to a running back. Again, nothing crazy, right? But hey, you turned value, positive value, into a play that seemed to have negative value written all over it. So that's a good job. Being able to do that is not easy to do, and the fact that he can do that is very good. Also, something like this, what's going to happen is this is a man coverage concept right here, and so, but really, again, I talked about his mobility, but I think he does a good job of this kind of thing, which is really what I see in, again, when I say the Gardner Minshew comparison, I'm meaning it as a positive, because Minshew did a great job at transitioning to the NFL right away. Watch how, when Gabriel takes the snap, he's going to look right over here, and, okay, nothing really open, and pressure is going to start to emerge, so he's going to have to figure something out. Watch him step up in the pocket, looks like he's going to run, but he keeps his eyes downfield enough that he actually notices when there's an open player and hits him before running past the line of scrimmage, resulting in a touchdown. That's really good, right? And again, the Minshew thing of being able to, right when you get into the NFL, sometimes if you're a third round pick, you need a way to stick, right? He doesn't get 3 years to develop. He's not going to have, even if he has a Josh Allen like trajectory, it won't matter, because by year 3, if he sucked for 2 years, you're out of the league, right? And while usually guys are able to be successful by just running the offense effectively, and that's how they're able to stick around, being able to maybe be a good playmaker can also be a way you can stick around. Although I would say, I think he gets the game in a way you would like an NFL player too. Like heading over here, what's going to happen is that it's going to be a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver running a route trying to get into a gap in coverage. But when this play begins, you're going to see that here, Gabriel eventually gets on this route, but it's not like wide open or anything, right? There's not really a ton of separation. I think a lot of college quarterbacks wouldn't feel comfortable making this throw. But Gabriel is comfortable. He knows where he has to put it to make sure that play works. He knows if he just kind of lets his receiver make a tough catch, he will reward him with the tough catch. It will work out. So, again, understanding the game in a way that will translate to the next level. That's not to say every play will work. Something like this is a zone coverage concept. So, okay, well, let's see what happens here. Gabriel's going to take the snap. He looks towards his left first and foremost, and this play is pretty well covered. Ohio State, they were pretty good last year, I would say. Okay, that's covered. But he sticks with the route going over the middle, assuming this one's eventually going to get open. And there's kind of some logic to it, but really I think he's waiting too long or just hoping that this will work because it could have worked on paper. The reality is this throw is not available right now, and yet he still tries to make it, and honestly was a little lucky that all that happened there was an incomplete pass, because that could have been potentially worse. So again, ended up being okay, but definitely one that you have to be careful with. Also, I want to talk about, I made this chart for my Tyler Shuck video, but I'll include it here as well, just because I think it's worth mentioning. So, Dillion Gabriel is 24 years old, and that's always something that concerns me a little bit when we're talking about prospects. And I think some people get confused about that, because well, who cares, right? If he's good until he's 38, that's 14 years of a good player. That's totally worth it, right? But that's not really why I am concerned about age, and this chart can hopefully help explain why I feel that way and why a lot of other people feel that way. This is the big thing in the analytics community, is pay attention to age when it comes to quarterbacks. But essentially, you see this chart right here. Just imagine that the higher you are on the chart, that is the more valuable you are. I don't know how to measure value, so this is just kind of an example. But you tend to get more valuable from when you go from 21 to 27. Then you kind of plateau. Some guys get a little better, sometimes some guys get a little worse. But usually you tend to, your athleticism drops off a little bit, but your football IQ raises a little bit, so kind of plateaus until you're about 38, and then most quarterbacks fall off. Tom Brady's is obviously very different. There are exceptions, of course, but this is how most quarterbacks are. And so now let's say there are two different quarterback prospects. Again, this is for the Tyler Shuck video, so I have it at 25. For Gabriel's case, it'd be 24. But essentially, if one's 21 and one's 25, you're going to see that as of right now, their values would look wildly different, even if there's, when they're 27, they both might end up being the exact same caliber of player. And so, just following this logic, if there is a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old, both who are about the same caliber of player right now, then you would expect the 21-year-old would be better 5 years from now than the 24-year-old would. But again, that's not how it always works, and a lot of times the older prospect is a better prospect. I think Gabriel's pretty good. I think he is better than a lot of the younger prospects that are still on the board. So that might mean that it's still worth drafting. Of course, Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels were both older prospects last year, but you know what? They were still really good. They didn't need to grow that much because they were already good, right? And you still, of course, can get better. Even in your 30s, you can get better, right? But just that is the argument for why drafting older prospects is maybe not always the best idea, but sometimes it can still be a very good idea. And ultimately, I'm interested in seeing how Gabriel plays, but there are a lot of things I do like about his game. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.